Samara Khan had come out with a prediction, and she was saying that if she was to guess where Tony and Khabib are going to fight, where in the world, where on earth does this fight geographically actually take place? Her bet right now is Chechnya. And she had a number of reasons, including the fact that one country in the world that is yet to find COVID-19 is Chechnya. Not to mention the support, not to mention geographically how close that is to Khabib, in conjunction with the fact that Khabib just left the AKA and went home to Russia. Now, I have to interpret that as a clue. And where the fight is going to be, I just have to interpret him leaving the States, getting further away from not only California, which is a mecca, but Nevada, which has the apex, and I realize all the moving parts there. Don't think you need to correct me. I get it. But I do feel that Khabib going home to Russia is some kind of a clue as to the geographical location. Does that equal Chechnya, like Samara thinks? Somewhere in Russia, Moscow, possibly? A little closer for him to get to the UAE? Those things are going to be revealed, but Khabib would be what we would call a guy on the know. And the second question comes to how are you going to do it? And I was on UFC Unfiltered recently. I was talking to Jim and Matt Serra, and we were trying to just take different guesses, because this is a puzzle to the highest of levels, and it is very fun to try to be Columbo that's inserting the right piece into the right spot. And I will just tell you this. One question that is out there is, do you hold an entire fight card, or do you just hold this fight? And the world of entertainment, particularly as it has to do with visual and audio stimulation, is changing so rapidly and so fast. I mean, Jimmy Fallon just did a Tonight Show from his living room. And just by mistake, one of his children climbed up and sat on his shoulders and his head. It was like the high point of the evening. Something that wasn't even supposed to happen, something that wasn't even planned. But people watched it because it was on TV, right? The great George Costanza line, why am I watching it? Because it's on TV. There is a truth to this, though. So when you talk about, if you're a fight fan, if you want to see Tony versus Khabib, do you need to have an entire supporting cast? The answer is no. The answer in the best of times is no. You would prefer it, but if you are left to choose between yes and no, the answer is still no. Now that we aren't in the best of times, we're arguably in the worst of times, don't forget the only problem that anybody ever would have with throwing a party, getting the chips and the pizzas and the hot dogs going, the only problem with doing that and then having one fight that could end in less than 5 minutes is your party just got busted. We are in a time right now where people are not having parties. They are not gathering to watch a fight or anything else. They are going to do it in seclusion. So that factor does not play. Now, if you were married to the idea that I have a responsibility as a producer to provide X amount of content, you could do what Vince McMahon did at WrestleMania 2. WrestleMania 2, for those of you that don't know, was on pay-per-view. Sit down, push a button, put your feet up, kick back for the rest of the day. Okay. The other part of it is they did it at 3 different locations. Vince just ran all of it through what's called the truck, and even though he was in 3 different geographical locations spread throughout America, housed to live gates and live events at all 3 that are completely sold out, whatever the main event of one show was one of the opening acts. Whatever the main event of a different show was, it now becomes your co-main event. Whatever the final main event was at the final venue becomes your main event, but the audience who's viewing at home is not in the same room. And that may sound sophisticated and complicated, but guys, it's not much different than what we're doing right now. You and I are not in the same room. My producer is yet somewhere else, and my director is yet somewhere else, and we piece it all together. Bring it to you. That's our job. That's our headache. But that is also our deal. We provide the content. You watch the content. Look, all I will offer for you is this. The rules are changing daily. So even if the master plan is put together today, the only thing that the master himself is going to know is that I may have to redo this plan tomorrow. There's a few ways to do it. They're all outside the box. But Jimmy Fallon recorded the night show from his living room with his child on his shoulders. Also pretty outside the box.